Hello everyone, Professor McAllilster here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about tone and mood. They're a little tricky, but no worries because I'm going to explain it to you. The tone is basically the author's attitude toward the subject. And the author expresses this tone by using different adjectives. On the other hand, mood is about the reader. The mood is what we feel when we read certain passages. So the tone is all about the author, and the mood is all about the reader. I'm going to switch over to a PowerPoint so I can give you specific examples, okay? Okay, everybody, let's do this. Tone and mood. The author's tone is merely the author's attitude towards something. It usually indicates bias or judgment. It can be emotional. The author uses words to express a positive, negative, or neutral meaning. So, positive words would be delightful, kindly, friendly. Negative words would be tragic, solemn, dreadful. And some words have a neutral meaning, such as direct, questioning, unassuming. The author uses different words to influence the reader's reaction to the passage. It is easier to determine the tone when someone speaks. So when someone is speaking directly to you, most people can determine if they're angry or if they're trying to be funny or sarcastic. You can tell when someone's speaking if they're really sad. It's harder, though, to detect that tone when you're reading something. Examples of the different types of tone can include optimism, bitterness, tolerance, humorous, anger, respectfulness, kindness, and revengefulness. So here's an example of a sentence with an optimistic tone. Although we did not have any money for gifts, we still had each other. Now, what if that sentence instead said, we're going to have a crappy holiday because we don't have any money at all for gifts? That sounds definitely like a negative tone, don't you think? Okay, let's look at a different one. The nurse worked long hours and took very good care of her patients. And the tone of that sentence is respectfulness. On the other hand, if the sentence read, the nurse was walking so slowly, her eyes were starting to close, she was really grouchy with the patients and her co-workers, even though we knew she had worked 16 straight hours, it was hard to forgive her for being such a grouch. So that definitely is more negative. It's not respectful. Okay, all that I just told you is nice, yeah, but for the purpose of the tease, this is what you need to know. A formal tone is if there's a passage that is factual, which you will recall, factual means expository. Examples include passages from textbooks, encyclopedias, and biographies. A nostalgic tone refers to passages that reminisce about the good old days. Oftentimes, nostalgic passages are narrative. you'll see personal pronouns. For example, I remember when I received my first bicycle. A tragic tone will appear in a passage that might be in a newspaper reporting a disturbing event. So, for example, someone used force to enter the food pantry and stole all the food that was to be distributed to the needy. You might also read a passage in a newspaper that has a tragic tone, such as, we are now entering the second month of the government shutdown. Furloughed workers are struggling to pay their bills and to buy food. A reflective tone, it's usually a narrative passage. You'll definitely see I in it, because in order to reflect, it has to be about you. You reflect. You reflect on what your experience was like when you learned to ski. So here's an example. I realize now that I can learn as much from students as they might learn from me. Now we'll look at mood just very briefly. The author uses the tone of the passage to create a mood for us, the reader, to feel. For example, have you ever read a book that frightened you or that made you cry? Chances are the author's use of words, which were the author's tone, were designed to create that feeling. Let's do a quick review. Tone is the author's attitude toward the writing, and the author uses adjectives to express his or her attitude. For the purpose of the tease, a tone would be considered formal if it is factual, if the passage is factual or expository, such as passages you would find in textbooks, encyclopedias, and biographies. Nostalgic tone refers to thinking back to the good old days. A tragic tone is a report that you might see in a newspaper about some sad event. Reflective tone would be a narrative passage, and it contains personal pronouns and describes feelings. But a formal tone is in a factual passage and expository passage. For example, textbooks, encyclopedias, and biographies. Hi, thanks for watching my video. If you found my video helpful, please indicate it by hitting the like button. You're also welcome to leave any questions or comments down below. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you'll receive notification of all my future videos. Thank you.